Hello, how are you? Welcome back to the stream. I don't know what that was. Welcome back. We're doing Macbeth, as you know. Macbeth. Oh, I forgot to get water. Hold on. Of course. I was so hung up on my desk was just like an absolute mess. So I was like, oh man, I gotta clean this up because it looks so bad. But I forgot to get water, so hold on a second. Oh, I hope you're well. Today was a good day. Today we're chilling. It's time for Macbeth. I don't know. I wouldn't call it Macbeth, but maybe like a Macbetter. Maybe. McAverage. I don't know why, but I'm imagining them as like the way that McDonald's has the mix. Just like McChicken, Macbeth. Let's go. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Anyway. What a plug. I'm killing it. I'm chilling. I'm hanging out. Whatever. All of Midsummer Night's Dream is finally up, except for the lost section on my YouTube channel, so you can check that out there if you would like to see it. If not, that's fine. Part 1 of Macbeth will be up sometime later today. They're very large files, so they take a little bit to upload. So, just heads up. But, yeah, chilling today. The children that I watched today were just as chaotic as normal. But, great news, fantastic news. I did my dishes. It's always a Herculean task for me to get the dishes done, and let me just say, holy shit, I finally did them. I hadn't done them since before Japan, and so that was over a week ago. So I've been putting it off for a while, and I finally have an empty sink minus what I just had for dinner. So I just had, it was a very healthy dinner, by the way. It was tomato and pepper salad. I sound like a girl who really cares about their health, but honestly, I don't really care about it. It's just a very cheap meal, and also it tastes good. So it's just like, were the dishes gaining sentience? Oh, really close, to be honest. And it was just, it was so disgusting. Like, honestly, I hate when my dishes get disgusting because it makes me literally want to do nothing. Because when I don't do my dishes as I go, which I got this great idea from a friend of mine. She was just like, do your dishes as you go, because I'm so used to having a dishwasher from the US. I know I should be used to doing my dishes by hand by now, but you get used to the idea of letting your dishes build up on your countertop and eventually just go into your dishwasher and have your dishwasher clean it. But the thing is, I don't have a dishwasher, and so I just kind of let them build up, and I don't always do them right when I need to do them, which is not a good habit to get into whenever, you know, I have to wash them by hand. And I don't have a very big kitchen. I maybe have like, if I were to say it in meters, it's like 50 centimeters by 50 centimeters. Probably less than that, to be honest, of counter space, minus the sink. So with the sink, it's probably 50 centimeters to 60 centimeters of space. So I don't have a lot of space to put my dishes. And so it just gets stacked up really quickly, and then I don't have very many dishes either. So like everything is dirty once I get there. Because I mean, I'm one person. I don't need that many dishes anyway. And I try to keep it as minimal as possible so that I don't have to do so many dishes whenever I get around to it. And I'm not just like reaching for another clean plate. Instead, I'm just cleaning the plate that I used. But yeah, I just get really overwhelmed when I see all of that, and I'm just like, oh, I don't want to do it. So I'm going to try to get back in the routine of cleaning as I go. I just had a mug of cocoa and a half a container of Chips Ahoy cookies. Honestly, I want cookies so bad. After I ate my salad, I was thinking, oh, I really want to get cookies. So I'm thinking of making a run to the store after stream and just getting some cookies after this, because to be honest, that sounds really freaking fire right now. Though I am trying to like sugar detox a little bit, because I feel my cravings for sugar rising again, and I can see that I have a craving for sugar a lot of the time, and I'm trying to like decrease that a little bit and not ingest so much sugar. So we'll see what happens, but I'm not too serious about it, in all honesty. Anyway, enough about me. I totally understand trying to do the dishes as you dirty them. It makes life easier if you can keep... Yeah, exactly. It makes life so much easier. Oh my god. It's so much better. It's so much easier. It makes you... It just feels less stressful. And, you know, doing it as you go through life, you're just like, okay, I can handle this. Sorry, I'm hyper-focusing on this hangnail that I have. And I keep getting distracted on it. I just trimmed my nails today. I don't like to have my nails too long. But the thing is, I didn't file them, and so now I just have like sharp edges, and it's ugh. I didn't do it the way I want it to be. Anyway, no one needs to know about that. Okay, so we read scene 1 through scene 3 of Macbeth in Act 1. And so in scene 1, we met the witches that prophesized things about Macbeth. Let's file it. XP. One step at a time. So we went through scene 1, the witches are introduced. They're just being witches. Scene 2, we are introduced to the King of Scotland, and like there's this whole situation where the king's son got abducted or whatever, and he got freed by like this crew that was running with Macbeth. And the king is just like, okay, give Macbeth this stuff as a thank you. Scene 3, Macbeth returns to Scotland on his boat, and the witches come up to him and they're like, hey Macbeth, how does it feel to be the landowner and the future king of Scotland? And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about, but whatever. And then the dudes that were just with the king come up to him and they're like, hey, you own this new land now. And they're like, what? Macbeth is like, hold on a second. How did these witches know that I was gonna own this land? What? So it's just kind of like all of this crazy mishmash mixed up whatever that happened. So yeah, that's what happened, essentially. And so now, now we have Duncan, who's the King of Scotland, Malcolm, who is the son of Duncan, I believe, if I'm correct. Right? Yes, who is Duncan's older son. We have Donald Bane. I'm going with Donald Bane. Please tell me if I'm wrong, by the way. Donald Bane, who is Duncan's younger son, aka the young prince. And then we have Lennox and his attendants. Lennox is just a thane. And then, they aren't Lennox's attendants. They're just attendants. And I'm guessing they're to the 3 royals that are actually in the room, and not Lennox, who just owns land. And I'm going to leave the lid off because it's a lot. Okay. And we start the scene. Okay, they all enter. Imagine just owning land, right? I know, right? They used to give it out like candy. Now they don't do that anymore, but whatever. We're not going to go into landowning chat. This is not a landowning chat. This is not a landowning stream. Anyway, Duncan. Is execution done on Cawdor? Are not those in commission yet returned? Wait, hold up. Cawdor is the place, by the way, that Macbeth inherited. So they're asking if there's, like, if people are being killed in Cawdor. Is execution done on Cawdor? Are not those in commission yet returned? Malcolm. My liege, they are not yet come back. But I have spoke with one that saw him die, who did report that very frankly he confessed his treasons, implored your highness's pardon, and set forth a deep repentance. Nothing in his life became him like the leaving it. He died as one that had studied in his death to throw away the dearest thing he owed, as 'twere a careless trifle. So, okay, the dude who owned Cawdor, the landowner of Cawdor, who, like, betrayed the king, he was murdered. He was murdered, okay? He was killed because he backstabbed the king, essentially. But now that Macbeth is the landowner, there can't be two landowners. So you gotta just get him out of there. And Duncan said, there's no art to find the man's construction in the face. He was a gentleman on whom I built an absolute trust. So Malcolm had said, he died a very nice whatever death. He admitted to everything that he had done, and he also said that, like, he wishes he didn't cross the king, blah, blah, blah. He went out like a true champ. That's essentially what his son says. And the king is like, as he should have, he was a man I crafted myself. I crafted him into a gentleman, essentially. Malcolm, Banquo, Ross, and Angus enter. Whoa. Duncan says this to Macbeth. When did Macbeth come? Macbeth isn't here. How, what? Everybody exited after the last scene, but somehow Macbeth is here? I think there's a typo. I think Macbeth just came in instead of Malcolm, because Malcolm's already in the area. So he says this to Macbeth, who just came in. O worthiest cousin, the sin of my ingratitude even now was heavy on me. Thou art so far before that swiftest wing is of recompense is slow to overtake thee. Would thou hadst less deserved that the proportion, both of thanks and payment, might have been mine. Oh, I have left to say, more is thy due, than more than all can pay. So the king is just like, oh, thank you so much for everything that you've done. It's really a big deal. I really appreciate everything, blah, 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 blah. That was great. And Macbeth said, the service and the loyalty I owe in doing it pays itself. Your highness's part is to receive our duties, and our duties are to your throne and state, children and servants, which do but what they should by doing everything safe towards your love and honor. So Macbeth is just like, it was my pleasure to do so. And Duncan says, welcome hither. I have begun to plant thee, and will labor to make thee full of growing. Noble Banquo, that hast no less deserved, nor must be known no less to have done so. Let me enfold thee, and hold thee to my heart. So he hugs Banquo, and he's just like, Banquo, you also deserve some gratitude for the things that you have done. And Banquo's probably like, yeah, I do, because I also did some shit, But the witches didn't recognize. Witches be bitches, am I right? Anyway, so Banquo gets a hug, and he says, there if I grow, the harvest is your own. And Duncan says, my plenteous joys, wanton in fullness, seek to hide themselves in drops of sorrow. Sons, kinsmen, thanes, and you, whose places are the nearest, know we will establish our state upon our eldest, Malcolm, whom we name hereafter the Prince of Cumberland, which honor must not accompanied invest him only, but signs of nobleness like stars shall shine on all deservers. So Malcolm is being recognized as the Prince of Cumberland, which I guess is his title. He's also, he's the son of the king, so I'm guessing he has a title as the Prince of something. So he says then to Macbeth, Duncan says to Macbeth, from hence to Inverness, and bind us further to you. So I'm guessing Cumberland encapsulates part of the land that Macbeth owns. And so Duncan is saying, now that my son is the prince of the land that you own, It brings us even closer together, and it just joins, and it makes us even closer homies than we were before. And Macbeth says, the rest is labor, which is not used for you. I'll be my best the harbinger, and make joyful the hearing of my wife with your approach. So humbly take my leave. Ooh, Macbeth is married. Yeah, they're bosom buddies, bro. Hell yeah. Anyway, so Duncan says, my worthy Cawdor. So Cawdor is the place. And Macbeth says, aside, the Prince of Cumberland, that is the step on which I must fall down or else o'erleap. Let not light see my black and deep desires. The eye winketh the hand, yet let that be which the eye fears when it is done to see. So Macbeth is like, I secretly want to be the king, right? But I can't say anything. I know I'm supposed to be close with Duncan's son, aka the Prince of Cumberland. But maybe there's something I can do to convince him and or take him down and become the prince. And then Macbeth exits, and Duncan says, true, worthy Banquo, he is so valiant, and in his commendations I am fed. It is a banquet to me. Let's after him, whose care is gone before to bid us welcome. It is a peerless kinsman. And then they flourish. I wonder how one flourishes on stage. You're just like, oh man, I just achieved a goal. I don't know. Maybe it's just like a way to exit. They like gather all of their people and they're like, hey, we're leaving. And then they exit together. I don't know how that works. Okay. So, we're about to enter scene 5. Lady Macbeth is here. So, let's read a little bit about Lady Macbeth at the beginning here, eh? Lady Macbeth. There's literally nothing about Lady Macbeth. It just says Lady Macbeth. Fantastic. Okay, here, hold on. This is actually driving me crazy. I am going to come back for a second. Just give me a sec. Wow, what a screen. Isn't it so captivating? So interesting to look at. Wow, I wonder if she crafted that herself. It's so engaging, so interesting to watch, so fascinating. Okay, I got it. It's over now. It's over now. It's okay. I handled it. I might start bleeding, but it's fine. It was worth it. It was worth it to not be irritated any longer. Okay. So we're on scene 5, and it starts in Inverness, inside Macbeth's castle. And it's Lady Macbeth, who's there by herself. And she's holding a letter. And she's reading this. Man, this is a long letter. And she's reading, and it says, they met me in the day of success, and I have learned by the perfectest report. They have more in them than mortal knowledge. When I burned in desire to question them further, they made themselves air, into which they vanished. While I stood wrapped in the wonder of it, came missives of the king, who all hailed me Thane of Cawdor, by which title before these wayward sisters saluted me, and referred me to the coming on of time, with hail, King thou shalt be. This have I thought good to deliver thee, my dearest partner of greatness, that thou mightest not lose the dues of rejoicing by being ignorant of what greatness is promised to thee. Lay it to thy heart and farewell. Glamis thou art, and Cawdor it shalt be, what thou art promised. Yet do I fear thy nature. It is too full of the milk of human kindness to catch the nearest way. Thou wouldst be great, art not without ambition, but without the illness should attend it. What thou wouldst highly, that wouldst thou holily. Wouldst not play false, and yet wouldst wrongly win. Thou'dst have great Glamis, that which cries, thus thou must do if thou have it, and that which rather thou dost fear to do, that wishes, then wishes should be undone. Hie thee hither, that I may pour my spirits in thine ear, and chastise with the valor of my tongue all that impedes thee from the golden round, which fate in metaphysical aid doth seem to have thee crowned withal. So, Lady Macbeth read a letter from Macbeth telling her everything that had happened. And he's just like, look, there were some witches, they told me this thing, and then it happened, partly. And I just want you to know that we're on our way to success. And she's just like, I don't know if this is good. Because, like, she's like, my husband's kind of sketchy. Not going to lie. And he likes to claw to the top. And he knows how to do anything that he can in his power to get there. And a messenger comes in and says, and Lady Macbeth says, what is your tidings? And the messenger says, the king comes here tonight. If I was Lady Macbeth, I'd just be like, that's not good. I'd be like, are you sure he's going to want to come? Because, like, that seems like a bad idea. And Lady Macbeth says, thou art mad to say it. Is not thy master with him, who wert so, would have informed for preparation? And the messenger said, so please you, it is true, our thane is coming. One of my fellows had the speed of him, who, almost dead for breath, had scarcely more than would make up his message. And Lady Macbeth says, give him tending. He brings great news. And the messenger exits. The raven himself is hoarse that croaks the fatal entrance of Duncan under my battlements. Come, you spirits that tend on mortal thoughts, unsex me here and fill me from the crown to the toe, top full of direst cruelty. Make thick my blood, stop up the access and passage to remorse, that no compunctuous visitings of nature shake my fell purpose, nor keep peace between the effect and it. Come to my woman's breast and take my milk for gall, you mirthring ministers, whether in your slightless substances you wait on nature's mischief. Come, thick night, and pall thee in the dunnest smoke of hell, that my keen knife see not the wound it makes, nor heaven peep through the blanket of the dark, to cry, hold! Hold! Okay. So before we go any further, because Macbeth is about to enter, it seems that Lady Macbeth is already kind of like planning the demise of the king. She's like, I hope. So she says, the fatal entrance of Duncan. So it seems that Lady Macbeth is already kind of trying to plan the death of the king. It seems that she wants to kill him even more than Macbeth is trying to like maneuver his way into his spot, which I think is interesting. So I think she's going to try to, like, stab him. Which, I do know that Lady Macbeth is very renowned for being this mad lady. She's really well known for being just, like, a completely crazy woman. But it could be that she is going to murder him. But anyway, Macbeth comes in. Great Glamis, worthy Cawdor, greater than both, by all the hail hereafter. Thy letters have transported me beyond this ignorant present, and I feel now the future in the instant. So, Lady Macbeth, like, puts on she's just, like, putting on a mask, and she's just like, oh, I'm so happy you're back. I can't believe you got this land for us. I can't believe, wow, amazing. And the king is coming. How amazing is that? Wow. What did you do to get here? What? And he's just like, oh. Macbeth says, my dearest love, Duncan comes here tonight. And Lady Macbeth is like, and when goes hence? She's just playing dumb. Macbeth, tomorrow, as he proposes. Lady Macbeth, oh, never shall sun that morrow see. Your face, my thane, is as a book where men may read strange matters. To beguile the time, look like the time. Bear welcome in your eye, your hand, your tongue, look like the innocent flower, but be the serpent under it. He that's coming must be provided for, and you shall put this night's great business into my dispatch, which shall to all our nights and days to come give solely sovereign sway and masterdom. So, Lady Macbeth is like, oh, I can't wait for tomorrow. That's going to be great. And I'm so proud of you for doing all of these things. It's amazing. And you know what? We'll handle business tomorrow. Just tell me what to do. Give me the word. I got you. And Macbeth says, we'll speak further. And Lady Macbeth says, only look up clear to alter favor. Ever is to fear. Leave all the rest to me. And then they exit. Okay. So, Lady Macbeth and Macbeth, I think, are a little bit on the same wavelength. I think Macbeth is like here, and Lady Macbeth is here. I think Macbeth is trying to do like an emotional strategy where he's just like, yeah, I can totally do this to where like I can maneuver my way to where Duncan favors me and eventually I become the king. And I think Lady Macbeth is like, how we speed up this process to where I'm a queen. Am I right or am I right, fellas? I want that crown. I think that's what's happening. So I think Lady Macbeth is going to take it a little too far. That's my prediction. Again, never read it, so I don't know. But we'll see. So we're in scene 6. It's the evening outside of the main gates of Macbeth's castle. Macbeth has a castle? Bro, why do you want to be king of Scotland? Like, I don't know why you would want the pressure of being the king of Scotland when you already live in a castle. Like, I've seen Downton Abbey, okay? Like, Downton was hella sick, okay? Like, who wouldn't want to live in a fucking house like that? So cool. And you don't have the responsibility of being a monarch. So, like, why not? It seems like a good deal. Like, don't be royalty, live in a castle. That's all I'm saying. I just think that'd be better, personally. Like, I mean, power's great. Whatever. Cool. Influence, make laws, be remembered. Sick. But I don't need all that. I don't know. That just seems like a lot. That seems like a lot. Anyway, maybe I just have a different inclination from Macbeth. I mean, yeah, I would say, everybody likes a certain amount of power. But again, just live in your castle, man. I would just live in my castle. It's the evening. It's outside of the main gate of Macbeth's castle. We said this. Okay. And Duncan comes in, and Malcolm comes in, and Donalbain comes in, and Banquo comes in, and Lennox comes in, and Macduff comes in, and Ross comes in, and Ancus comes in, and the attendants come in. So they all come in. So we have all of the royalty, we have some of the thanes, and we have their attendants. And Duncan says, this castle hath a pleasant seat. The air nimbly and sweetly recommends itself unto our gentle senses. So he's like, oh, the air is clean and fresh. And it's just, oh, what a beautiful sight to behold. And Banquo says, this guest of summer, the temple-haunting martlet, does approve by his loved masonry, and the heaven's breath swells wooingly here. No juddy, frieze, buttress, or coign of vantage, but this bird hath made his pendant bed and procreant cradle. Where they must breed and haunt, I have observed the air is delicate. They don't have buttresses? I'm sorry. Okay. I do know a little bit about architecture. I love a good buttress. Okay? And it's not just because the word has but in it. I mean it. Buttresses are really aesthetically pleasing because if you don't know what a buttress is like kind of like the archway that you'll see in a lot of cathedrals where it just goes like this, but it's like curved most of the time. But it's mainly for acoustic purposes. And I think buttresses look super cool because they kind of look gothic. Because, okay, personally, I do have a castle vision. Like, if I could live in a castle, fuck yeah, I would live in a castle. I think that would be fucking awesome. I would want something either medieval or gothic. Probably more gothic because I like the edgy feel of it. And who doesn't like gargoyles? I'm sorry, but gargoyles are badass. I know they're ugly, but I would want like the actual scary ones. Anyway, gargoyle, gargoyle, buttress. So like the buttresses kind of give like almost a cave-like look, but the thing is they're really good for sound, and they make sound go through a space really easily and really well. So I'm just saying, the architect, that wouldn't be my personal choice when it comes to castle design. Anyway, but they're like, even without buttresses, it's very beautiful, the way that they designed it and everything like that. And Lady Macbeth enters. She's like, don't mind my stabby thing here. Just keep talking. And Duncan says, see, our honored hostess, the love that follows us sometime in our trouble, which still we thank as love. Herein I teach you how you shall bid God yield us in your pains and thank us for your trouble. So he's greeting Lady Macbeth, and he's just like, oh, thank you for having us over. It's really nice. I'm sure you had to prepare a lot, even though they probably fucking have servants. But, she probably planned a little bit of it. And Lady Macbeth says, all our service in every point twice done, and then done double. We're poor and single business to contend against those honors deep and broad wherewith your majesty loads our house for those of old and the late dignities heaped up to them. We rest your hermits. She's like, oh, it's no problem. Please rest your bones here. Treat it as if it's your own home. And Duncan says, where's the Thane of Cawdor? We coursed him at the heels and had a purpose to be his purveyor, and he rides well. And his great love, sharp as his spur, hath holp him to his home before us. Fair and noble hostess, we are your guests tonight. So Duncan's just like, where's Macbeth though, bro? Because, we came here to see him. No offense, Lady Macbeth, but, shouldn't he also be here to greet us? Shouldn't he, if anything, be the first ones to greet us because he's the one who invited us? Lady Macbeth says, your servants ever have themselves, and one is theirs, and comped to make their audit at your highness's pleasure, still to return your own. And Duncan says, give me your hand. Conduct me to mine host. We love him highly and shall continue our graces towards him. By your leave, hostess. So Duncan's just like, okay, let's just go in. Let's just go say hey to Macbeth and have a good time and whatever. Let's get drunk. Let's get lit. Whatever. Okay. So they all exunt into the castle. They all go into the castle. And we're now at scene 7. And it's nighttime. And it's inside Macbeth's castle. And there's music of hot boys. I'm trying to remember what a hot boy is, because I remember hot boys. I don't remember what it means, though. Oh, yeah, it's an oboe. Oh, my God. That's right. Yeah, I forgot that oboes were also called hot boys, because I remember I used to make this joke when I was in university, when I was studying. I studied music in university, and when I was studying, it was one of my favorite things because, so in German, oboes are called hot boys. But I think it's something less appealing. It's not called hot boys, but it's close to that. But it's legendary. It's legendary that Shakespeare called them hot boys in this play. I'm dead. Okay, let's play the oboe. And then they have to lick the reed in the middle because it gets dry. It's a double reed, fun fact. Squeak. I love the oboe. The oboe is probably my favorite woodwind. It's either that, I like the double reeds a lot. I like oboe and I like bassoon. Oboe and bassoon are sick. I don't like saxophone that much. I don't like flute. I don't like piccolo. And clarinet's just boring. Alto clarinet is cool. I will give, it's like if a clarinet and a saxophone had a spawn. It's super cool because it slants down and it goes onto the floor and it's just, it's sexy. It's curvy. It's sexy. Anyway, so we played the oboe and the attendants enter. They fix their burning torches in place and exunt. A steward enters. He directs various servants who cross the area bearing the service and dishes for a banquet. And then the servants exunt and the stewards Exeunt. Okay. So they're just like putting things there, and they're like, hey, let's set up this stuff. Gotta set up the party, right? Gotta make sure that this party is the littlest party that's ever happened at Macbeth's castle. And Macbeth comes in from the banqueting chamber, and he says, if it were done when 'tis done, then 'twere well, it were done quickly. If the assassination could trammel up the consequence and catch with his surcease success, that but his blow might be the be-all and the end-all here. But here, upon this bank and shoal of time, we jump the life to come. But in these cases we still have judgment here, that we but teach bloody instructions, which being taught return to plague the inventor. This even-handed justice commends the ingredients of our poisoned chalice to our own lips. He's here in double trust. First, as I am his kinsman and his subject, strong both against the deed. Then, as his host, who should against his murtherer shut the door, not bear the knife myself. Besides, this Duncan hath borne his faculties so meek, hath been so clear in his great office, that his virtues will plead like angels trumpet-tongued against the deep damnation of his taking off. And pity, like a naked new-born babe striding the blast or heaven's cherubin horsed upon the slightness, couriers of the air shall blow the horrid deed in every eye, the tears shall drown the wind. I have no spur to prick the sides of my intent, but only vaulting ambition, which overlaps itself and falls on the other. And Lady Macbeth comes in like in the middle of his monologue. And he says, how now, brown cow? What news? Anyway, so he's monologuing to himself, and he's like, how am I going to get away with this? Because I think him and Lady Macbeth like came together, and they were like, yeah, we got to kill this bitch. Duncan, this king, you know. And he's just like, okay, I got to kill him, but like, how do I kill him? But also, like, I got to figure out how to kill him in a way that like I'm not going to get killed or arrested, but also in a way that I'm also going to become king. So like gotta avoid the right. So Lady Macbeth is here, and she says, he almost supped. Why have you left the chamber? Macbeth says, hath he asked for me? And Lady Macbeth says, no, you not, he has. So Lady Macbeth came because she's just like, bro, we're all waiting for you. Why are you taking so long? Macbeth says, we will proceed no further in this business. He hath honored me of late, and I have bought golden opinions from all sorts of people, which would be worn now in their newest gloss, not cast aside so soon. So Macbeth is like, look, we can't kill him. I don't think we can do this. So let's just have dinner. And Lady Macbeth says, was the hope drunk wherein you dressed yourself? Have it slept once, and wakes it now and look so green and pale as what it did so freely. So she's like, are you really choking up now? Are you really gonna try to get out of this? From this time such I account thy love. Art thou afeard to be the same in thine own act in valor as thou art in desire? Wouldst thou have that which thou esteemest the ornament of life, and live a coward in thine own esteem? Letting I dare not wait upon I would, like the poor cat in the adage. I think it's adage. Anyway, she's just like, look, I don't understand why you were so excited and so ready to kill this man yesterday, and now today you're just like, oh, I can't do it, I'm too shy, it's too hard for me. Macbeth says, prithee, peace. I dare do all that may become a man. Who dares do more is none. And Lady Macbeth says, what beast wast then that made you break this enterprise to me? When you durst do it, then you were a man, and to be more than what you were, you would be so much more the man. Nor time nor place did then adhere, and yet you would make both. They have made themselves, and that their fitness now does and make you. I have given suck, and know how tender 'tis to love the babe that milks me. Ooh, mommy milkers. Am I right? I would, while it was smiling in my face, have plucked my nipple from his boneless gums and dashed the brains out, had I so sworn as you have done to this. So she's calling him a baby. She's like, bitch, what, you need milk too? Are you a baby? Are you scared? If I'd have known you were a baby, I would have taken the babe off of my own nipple and put it in your fucking mouth, because apparently you can't fucking deal with it. And Macbeth says, if we should fail. Man, Lady Macbeth is a motherfucker. She's so cool. And Lady Macbeth says, we fail? But screw your courage to the sticking place and will not fail. When Duncan is asleep, where to the rather shall his stays hard journey soundly invite him. His 2 chamberlains will I with wine and wassail, to convince that memory, the warder of the brain, shall be a fume, and the receipt of reason a limbeck only. If you were wondering, wassail is also an alcoholic drink. I know that, for I used to... It doesn't matter. When in swinish sleep their drenched natures lie as in a death, what cannot you and I perform upon the unguarded Duncan? Would not put upon his sprungy officers, who shall bear the guilt of our great quell? She's like, look, he's gonna be passed out and fucking drunk. How are we not gonna be able to kill him? He's gonna be sleeping in our fucking house. How can you not do this, bro? Are you stupid? Are you idiot? Oh my God. How did I marry this man who's so bad? This is not a puzzle. This is not a Rubik's Cube. You know what this is? This is simple addition. 1 man plus 1 knife plus 1 sleep equals death, bro. And you can get away with it. And he says, Macbeth says, bring forth men and children only, for they undaunted metal should compose nothing but males. Will it not be received when we have marked with blood those sweepy 2 of his own chamber and used their very daggers that they have done it? Lady Macbeth, who dares receive it other, as we shall make our greaves and clamour roar upon his death? Macbeth, I am settled, and bend up each corporal agent to this terrible feat. Away, and mock the time with fairish show. False face must hide what the false heart doth know. So, Macbeth is like, fine, fucking do it, okay? She's like, yeah, you better fucking do it. I get it though. Like, honestly, if I was Lady Macbeth and Macbeth came up to me and she was like, he was like, look, I have been told a premonition. Part of it came true, and I'm ready for the rest of it to come true. Look, I was told I'm going to be the King of Scotland. And I'd be like, awesome. That's sick. That's great. Because, back in the day, they used to believe in this kind of stuff. I feel like it's not as, people don't really believe in witches as much anymore, if, pretty much at all. Most people, the majority of people don't. That's not really a thing. But, back in the day, I would probably be like, hell yeah, the witches said the word. And then he'd be like, yeah, so the king is coming to our house. And I'd be like, fuck yes, this is exactly what we need to do. And then he'd be like, okay, I have a plan for how I'm going to become a king. And I'm like, yes, I had the idea too. Let's say it at the same time on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. And I would be like, let's kill him. And Macbeth would be like, let's talk to him. And I'd be like, oh, that's what you meant. And I also feel like it's so much easier to get away with murder too in the olden days, because it's like, you don't know how to fingerprint people. You don't know how to DNA people. You just guess. You just gotta Sherlock Holmes it together. You gotta piece by piece it and be like, so he was asleep in this house. Everyone else was asleep too. It was witchcraft. And then everyone's like, how is witchcraft? Oh my God, someone wished the king would die. And then, yeah, that's the end of it, But yeah, if I was Lady Macbeth, I'd be pissed. If Macbeth was just like, yeah, I can't do this, man. I can't go through with this. So yeah, I totally agree with her. She's totally on the right side of the road. So what do I think's gonna happen? I honestly hope Macbeth kills the king, because if, based on this cover alone, I think there will be some Mordor. But I don't know who's gonna murder who. I hope Macbeth does it, but honestly, you know what? I think it would be more badass if Lady Macbeth murdered the king. Because she just seems more badass anyway. She seems like the kind of lady who would have the knife that, you can keep on your leg. You know what I mean? The sexy shit in the movies. That also kind of seems a little unrealistic because, like, what if you get stabbed when you're walking? I walk weird, so I feel like that just wouldn't work with the musculature of my legs and also the way that I walk. But to each their own. But she seems like the kind of lady who's gonna like lift up her skirt and be like ka-chow, you know? So she seems badass. A stiletto? No, I don't know. No, it's like the band that goes around your thigh and then you have a knife in there and it like holds the knife. I don't know what it's called though. Knife holder. I don't know. Let's see what it's called. Is it like a harness? Leg knife holster. What is that called? They just call it leg knife holster. Knife leg holster. Leg knife holster, leg knife holster. I don't know what it's called though. I'm gonna guess that it's called knife leg knife holder holster. I'm dead. So yeah, on that note, thanks for coming to the stream. I appreciate it. What is a stiletto then? It's a shoe. A stiletto heel? I don't know what a stiletto is. I don't know what you're talking about, Jojokos. Anyway, on that note, I'm going to end the stream because, again, you can tell I'm a little hoarse. No, it's a type of knife. A stiletto knife. What? Stiletto knife. Let's see. Imiji. Oh, isn't that like a switchblade? No. I'm talking about the thing that you like. Yeah, a stiletto knife is the thing that's like you press the button, it's like, that's a stiletto knife. That's what I see pictures of anyway. So, yeah. I was talking about just like the holster thing. But I guess a stiletto knife would work if you kept it on there. But like the thing is, the sexy part about it is that there's like an actual blade out, you know? So, but again, unrealistic. Thanks for watching the stream. I appreciate it. Thanks for coming in. I will be back tomorrow with Act 2. Hopefully the entirety of Act 2 and not just like an abridged version. Depends on how much rage I feel during Act 2. But it looks like Act 2 is kind of short. Yeah. Act 2 isn't very long. It's about 10 pages. So I think we'll get through it. I don't think it'll be a Herculean task. So thanks for tuning in. If you would like to see this stream again, come on over to the YouTube channel and we can go from there. Thanks so much. I will see you again tomorrow. Have a good night. Have a good day. Do the dishes if you haven't done the dishes. That's important. And yeah. Okay. Bye.